Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back to another Rage video, where tonight, ladies and gentlemen, as the month of July is coming to a close, today being the 29th, I heard that apparently this, mostly from my sister, that this was apparently I'm not too sure about the group itself, but I heard that this song in particular was a very exceptional sort of case, maybe to describe what I was maybe experiencing. The feeling of being cumbersome. Now, I'll probably... Usually this is like the sort of thing I could probably like just make videos of my own. But for the sake of argument, I'm kind of curious to find out what we've got here. Because they said it was a very post-grunge sort of era of the 1990s. And because my sister is a big fan of that sort of thing. So she just sat down and just asked me to check out this song from Seven Mary 3. Now, as is the case whenever we do any new group, we're just going to get straight into it and then we'll find out some backstory next time. Because she definitely did recommend this, as well as some things by the Stone Roses and some other groups besides. But let's see at first just what we've got in store to see if it can maybe shed some light on this little dilemma I've been having. So, if you guys want to check out the original video for yourselves, links will all be in the description down below. Let's begin. Cumbersome in 3, 2, 1, and... I mean, let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, that week, I think we could just, let's spend, now in traditional fashion for this channel, we're going to spend the next 5 minutes talking about that first line. She calls me Goliath and I wear the David mask. He is secretly the underdog when everybody thinks he's this great master, this savior. But he's not brave and he's not giant. He is still, at heart, a very small man. He feels perhaps this guy is going through, like he's becoming too big for his boots, to quote from Stormzy.
I guess the stones are coming to fetch her now. You know I'd like to believe this nervousness.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's nervousness.
All the stones that are thrown are building up a wall. I have become cumbersome to this world. I have become cumbersome to my girl. Reconcile the past, resurrect those bridges with ancient plans. But my old stone face can't seem to break her down. She remembers bridges, burns them to the ground. I have become...
Yeah, I'm gonna turn this part up because I like the way he says it. I know, again, the second verse is basically saying that there's too much water under the bridge, there's no way we can mend what happened in the past. Which kind of makes you kind of like realize that, well, what did this guy do? I mean, was he simply not good enough for this girl? Or was it that this girl simply wanted more? Because it can be one or the other. Maybe both, perhaps.
I have become cumbersome to this world. I have become cumbersome to my girl. Too heavy, too light, too black or too white, too wrong or too right, today or tonight. Cumbersome. Too rich or too poor, she's wanting me less and I'm wanting her more. The bitter taste is cumbersome. No, yeah, no, no, no. No, 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 yeah. There is a balance between two worlds, one with a narrow end across. Regardless of the balance, life has become cumbersome. Too heavy, too light, too black or too white, too wrong or too right, day or tonight. Cumbersome. Too rich or too poor, she's wanting me less and I'm wanting her more. The bitter taste is cumbersome. No, yeah, no, no, no. No, 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 yeah. No, 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 no. Yeah, yeah. Your life has become cumbersome.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, that was Cumbersome by Seven Mary Free. I got a kick out of that, ladies and gentlemen, and songs like these really do. I won't at any point knock groups like Seven Mary Free for this sort of material, because you know why? It's I could immediately say how it's quite a very simplistic sort of song. It's the tale of two people. One thought he wasn't good enough. The other thought that he was completely inferior, and they just didn't seem to be able to get along, even though they kind of really wanted to. And it's interesting as well when you look at it, especially for those who ever remember the song "Somebody That I Used to Know" by Gautier. You heard from the guy's perspective as well as from the woman's perspective about why this relationship simply didn't work. And now this guy is lumbering about his life, thinking that he has become, well, I technically sort of can hazard a guess as what cumbersome actually means. It means that it's a bit sluggish, a bit like something that doesn't necessarily look as active as it does. I'm just gonna sort of just do a definition anyway, because I feel like definition: large or heavy and therefore difficult to carry or use, unwieldy. I suppose there you go. And so you don't think, ladies and gentlemen, that this maybe is that what the issue is? Size, perhaps? Maybe we're talking about a man's size, maybe the size of maybe his weight or maybe his manhood, or maybe it's an ego-driven thing. I mean, we heard at the very beginning, she calls me Goliath and I wear the David mask. Is this like a victim sort of complex or an underdog sort of complex? Or even the complex of an egomaniac, somebody who thinks he is top dog because he is 7 feet tall and therefore he doesn't have to listen to anyone. There's a lot of very interesting things, revelations, I suppose, we're learning more and more as Cumbersome ended only a few moments ago. And I suppose if there's anything I kind of really wanted to, I mean, musically as well, it's very sort of, how can I describe the music side? It's slow, but at the same time, I think it carries enough. It never has to, put on so much a show, but it rather put on this it's just this simple little narrative. And again, some things don't necessarily have to be 100% spectacular. They just have to do their job, and sometimes that's what you need. I don't really want to say like middle of the road sort of rock, but it is it's a nice little change of pace. I mean, the sort of stuff I would listen to, especially from this period, be stuff like Pearl Jam or Soundgarden. And I'd say they're a little bit more grungier, and Seven Mary Three seems to have been like, it's a bit more, not nearly, sort of like, just like, you know, it's a little bit, it's softer in places, it's much more, I think the way I could describe Seven Mary Three's sound is that it's very, just, it seems like the sort of thing it would be open to more and more people, because it's sort of, not so much more mainstream, but it gives you something maybe a little bit, maybe something a bit more. It's interesting. I know it's a difficult one to describe, because it's giving you, it's less is more, and I think Seven Mary Three, it's like, I'll remember it, especially that sort of near the end, and the tune of I have become cumbersome to this world. I have become cumbersome. It's a very mellow sort of thing. That's how I'm going to describe it. It's a very mellow song for what seems to be a pretty mellow, a mellow sound for a very mellow sort of song. It's sort of just kind of like flows, and it's more, I think it's more natural and a bit more authentic, because it's not about, I mean, some of the things, it's not about, so with regards to some of the other things I listen to, it's not about people screaming aloft that people are coming to save them, or that they are absolutely, they've dug their own graves. It's a lot more just normal people in the normal world, if you can call this world normal anyway. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That was what I thought of Cumbersome. And should I return to doing some Seven Mary Three? I'd like to. I really would like to come back and do more, because it's a really, really chill sort of vibe, and it's a very relatable sort of story in many ways. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this reaction video. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys thought of Cumbersome for yourselves by Seven Mary Three, and I will hope to see you guys again in the next video. Take care. Bye bye for now.